So, good afternoon guys. Ako yung na-assign dito sa Module 5 ng Basic Occupational Safety and Health. So, basically, matutunan natin dito yung materials handling and storage. So, gano'n nga ba ka-importante yung material handling and storage? So, importante naman talaga yun kasi kung diba sa atin dapat we have the basic knowledge on how to handle the materials in our company or whatever we are doing and how to store them so that makaiwas tayo sa mga future accidents na pwedeng mangyari. And then yun na nga, para makaiwas tayo sa mga aksidente and then future hazards. So yan, objectives. Working in this module should help you to demonstrate methods of safe manual handling, discuss safe procedures in mechanical handling, and enumerate standard requirements on material storage. So, kapag natapos na natin i-discuss tong module 5 na ito sa Basic Occupational Safety and Health, so dapat itong 3 objectives na to is dapat ma-achieve natin to after we discuss, and hopefully nga na ma-achieve natin sila. So, material handling and storage is a technique which includes the art of lifting, placing, storing, and movement of materials through the use of one's physical strength or appropriate handling equipment. Materials handling has 2 general qualifications: manual materials handling and mechanical materials handling. So, ano nga ba tong manual materials handling na ito? So, manual materials handling or MMH means moving or handling things by lifting, lowering, pushing, pulling, carrying, holding, or restraining using one's physical strength. MMH is also the most common cause of occupational fatigue, low back pain, and lower back injuries. It is riskier than one might think, as it should lead to strain, sprains, wounds, fractures, and hernias. Remember to stop and think before lifting loads and ask yourself whatever this is, there is an even safer way to do the job. So, yun na nga ang manual materials handling. So, ito na nga yung sinasabi nga nating manual, which is ginagamit natin yung physical strength ng isang tao para yun na nga sinasabing lifting, lowering, pushing, pulling, carrying, holding, and many other things to do on the materials or the things na dapat i-move natin or i-lift and do other things sa mga materials in our company. So, what makes manual materials handling hazardous? MMH is always hazardous, but the level of hazard depends on what you are handling, for what the task is, and what conditions are the workplace or site. For example, the materials or loads that you are handling may be, ito na nga yung kung gaano nga ba ka-hazardous yung manual materials handling. Ito nga, too heavy for the task for your doing. So ito, kung masyadong or hindi appropriate yung isang task para dun sa isang tao, yun yung nagiging hazardous. Yun na nga yung masyadong mabigat. Locate too high or too low for a safe lift. Yun na nga, masyadong mataas o masyadong mababa para yung isang object or the things that kailangan mong iangat, kailangan mong i-lower. Too big or have a shape that makes it hard to handle. Ano nga ba yung mga things na too big or hard to handle? Like circular object or yung mga oblong na object or objects that has irregular shapes. Yung wala tayong masyadong grip dun sa object, pwede natin itong mahulog, masira. Unstable or wet, slippery, or have sharp edges that makes it hard to grasp. Yun na nga ang sinasabi ko kanina dun sa bali connected na din dun sa too big or have any other shape na wala nga tayong masyadong grip o madulas yung object, kaya nagiging hazardous. Pwede natin mabagsak or masira yung object, ma-deform. unstable or can lift its center of gravity because the contents may flow. For example, a partial fit drum or concrete in a wheelbarrow too big to let you see where you are putting on your feet. Yun nga, kung yung object ay isang box, tas meron laman sa loob na gamit na pwedeng malipat yung kanyang center of gravity, which can cause outbalance dun sa tao. Too big to let you see where you are putting your feet. Yun na nga na kapag nagbubuhat ka ng isang bagay, tapos natatabunan yung iyong sight dun sa iyong dadaanan or papaglagyan, yun yung nagiging hazardous, which is baka may maapakan tayong madulas, hindi natin makita, tas mahulog natin yung bagay na binubuhat natin. The task can make MMH hazardous if a worker uses poor lifting techniques, lifting too fast, too often, too long, with hack bent while twisting or reaching too far, etc. Has to move materials over long distances, does not take appropriate rest breaks, has insufficient recovery time, has a combination of handling tasks. So, yun na nga yung mga bagay or factors na nakaka-affect dun sa tao, yung poor lifting techniques, yung mga wala siyang basic knowledge, and has to move materials over long distances. Kung yung stamina natin mas mababa, does not take appropriate rest breaks. Yung mga workaholic na tao, yung mga kala nila kaya nilang magtrabaho na matagal na walang tigil-tigil, pares lang sa insufficient recovery time, and that's a combination of handling task. Yung mga na-hassle yung tao tapos parang nararush niya yung trabaho niya. The conditions where you are working can also contribute to hazards of MMH and result in injuries. Example of these conditions are surface that are uneven, slapping, wet, icy, slippery, unsteady, etc. Differences in floor levels or elevations, poor housekeeping, inadequate lighting, cold or very hot and humid working environment, windy conditions, fast pace of work, and restricted movements because of clothing or lack of space. So, yung mga bagay nito, yung conditions dun sa tao na kung saan siya magtatrabaho, yung mga factors na nakaka-affect para dun sa efficient working. Manual materials handling also involve pushing and pulling motions at work. You use various pushing and pulling techniques in a wide range of activities, such as use manual carts and trucks, sliding objects such as cartoons on flat surfaces, tables, floors, etc., operating tools and controls, opening and closing doors, wrapping or enclosing objects in packaging materials. Because these actions are among the most common work activities, they are also the cause of many injuries. However, there are no comprehensive injury statistics, and the injuries resulting of these activities are not always recorded very specifically as well. So, yun na nga yung mga injuries na ito, which is common. Minsan, hindi pa natin napapansin dahil siguro sa lack of security ng company or ng workplace. Most common are overexertion injuries, example back strain. Injuries due to slips and falls are often associated with pushing and pulling. Additionally, injuries to fingers and hands can result when caught in or in between objects, between carts and the wall, and to lower legs when bumped by carts. Therefore, existing statistics do not reflect on the importance of pushings and pullings as work factors causing injury because the injuries falls into different categories, making them too difficult to analyze. Because of the complex nature of body, motions during pushing and pulling, no numerical standards has yet been developed that can directly applied in industry. So, itong manual material handling, ito yung basic na pwede nating i-apply dahil nga sinasabi nga dito na wala pang na itatala na standard on which we should follow on how to handle common work, because dahil nga dun sa ang dami ng variation na pwedeng mangyari, hindi na may tatala dun or hindi na nagagamitan ng statistics. Many factors affect the amount of force that you are exerted in horizontal push and pull. Body weight and strength, height of force application, direction of force application, distance of force application from the body, posture, bending forward or leaning backward, friction coefficient, or grip between floors and shoes, duration, distance of push or pull. Ito sa body weight and strength. So, sa horizontal push, syempre yung body weight natin and yung strength natin, ito yung isa sa factors which na kung ano yung efficiency ng pag horizontal push natin or pull. Height of the force of application, syempre kunwari kung yung taas ng object nakapatong kunwari sa table, ganon, isa din sa factors na nakaka-apekto. Direction of force and application, syempre yung direction kung forward ba or dito sa north, sa south, east or west. Tapos may iba pang mga factors na nakaka-affect dun sa direction of application, kung may mga harang, ganon. Distance of force application from the body, so ito nga syempre yung distance nakaka-affect naman talaga yon. Syempre kung matagal or mahaba yung distance na pag horizontal push natin or pull, syempre mapapagod tayo and yung efficiency natin ay syempre bababa yon. Posture, bending forward, leaning backward, ito na nga yung syempre pag wala tayong proper posture on how to push and pull horizontally, syempre nakaka-affect yon, especially sa ating spinal cord and then sa ating syempre mga muscles natin. Sa improper posture, nakaka-apekto yon. Friction coefficient, one of the biggest factor yung friction coefficient because syempre kung mahina yung grip ng dito nga sinasabi dito ng floor and then yung shoes mo, kung mahina yung grip or yung friction coefficient, syempre kapag nag-push ka, kung dudulas lang din naman yung sapatos mo, ay para saan pa yon. And then duration and distance of push or pull, parang pares lang din dun sa distance na syempre kung matagal mapapagod tayo and then yung efficiency natin ay bababa. Okay, table 1, recommended upper force, limit force, horizontal push and pulling. In first column, condition, letter A, standing, whole body involved. Number 2, primary arm and shoulder muscles, arms fully extended. B, kneeling. C, seated. Second column, forces that should not be exceeded in newtons. 225 newtons or 50 pound force or kilogram force. 110 newtons, 24 power force or 11 kilogram force. 188 newton or 42 pound force or 19 kilogram force. 130 newtons. And then third column natin, examples of activities. Row 1, truck and cart handling, moving equipment on wheels or casters, slidings and rolls and stops. Number 2, leaning and over obstacle, move an object, pushing an object at above shoulder in height. Removing or replacing component from equipment as in maintenance work, handling in confined work areas such as tunnels or large conduits. And lastly, sa table 1 natin, operating a vertical lever such as floor, ships and heavy equipment, moving strays or product on the off conveyor. So ito na nga yung upper force limits for horizontal push and pulling sa whole body involved. We must not exceed 225 newtons or 50 pound force or 23 kilogram pound force. So if we exceeded in 225 newtons, it will result in damaging our health or our muscles because yun na nga yung naitala sa statistics, which is na 225 newton dapat walang mag-exceed doon. Same as dyan sa primary arm and shoulder, which is 110 newtons. Sa kneeling, 188 newtons. Tapos seated, 130 newtons. Table 1 contains upper force limits. Ito na ngayon. No, pushing or pulling an object when the hands must be above its shoulder or below the waist level. Exerting force for longer than 5 seconds. Exerting a force at an angle not directly in front of the body, etc. Not straight on. Where a worker can support his body or feet against a firm structure, high forces up to 675 newtons or 165 pound force or 75 kilogram force can be developed. Yan na yung para sa table 1 natin. So same lang din to. Pull down above head height. Ito, for 540 newtons, activating a control or grip such as safety and shower handle or manual control. Sa pull down shoulder level, ganun lang rin. Halos paras lang rin sila nung sa table 1. So the values in table 2 shows the upper limits of forces for vertical pushing and pulling. Examples of the use of vertical force are operating controls and hand tools. Such as activities tend to be a repetitive nature or physical, more demanding than occasional pushing or pulling. Therefore, these tasks should not be designed for considerably lower force requirements than those shown in table 2. So, what types of protective clothing should be worn? Sa do-wear natin, lightweight, flexible, tear and puncture resistant clothing. Safety boots with toe straps and slip resistant soles. And then protective gloves appropriate for handling materials for the materials being handled. So sa do-wear natin, lightweight, syempre dapat yung PPE natin ay work efficient. Ito nga, lightweight and flexible. Hindi masyadong masikip, hindi masyadong maluwag. And then, syempre yung durability, tear and puncture resistant dapat. Hindi siya yung kapag ma-stretch siya, tawag dito, matitir, mapupunit, and then puncture, yung kapag tinamaan siya ng mga pointed objects, yung matutusok, yung mga PPE natin. Safety boots with toe caps. Itong safety boots, familiar na din tayo dito. Leather type siya. And then yung meron siyang toe caps, which is yung bakal sa dulo ng sapatos para kapag nahulugan kunwari ng mga bagay ng mga kunwari martilyo, hindi tayo masasaktan. And then yung soles niya, slip resistant, which is high friction coefficient. Dapat mataas yung grip niya sa any surfaces or textures. Protective gloves, ito need natin to para sa paghandle ng mga materials. Dapat makapit. And do not wear aprons or coats, clothing with exposed buttons, zippers or loose flaps. And then heavy duty mitts. So aprons, bawal yun kasi syempre kapag nagdadala tayo ng mga gamit, baka sumabit siya kasi alam natin yung apron, maluwag yun sa ilalim, tapos yung pagkakatali niya sa likod, itong mahina lang, coats, ganun din, tsaka mabigat ang coats. Clothing with exposed buttons, baka ito sumabit sa mga dinadala natin. Kunwari yung mga dinadala natin ay may mga maliliit na butas, tapos pumasok yung buttons, yung zippers, baka makakadisgrasya pa sa atin to. And heavy duty mitts, ito na nga, dapat work efficient yung mga clothes natin. Manual handling guides, shoveling guidelines. Sa first picture natin, ito, put weight on front foot, use leg to push the shovel. Keep the feet wide apart, place front foot close to the shovel. Shift weight to the rear foot, keep load close to the body. And turn feet in the direction of the throw. So basically ito na yung mga proper steps on how to shovel. kaya nga shoveling guidelines. Yung sa una, put weight on the front foot, just like to push the shovel. Pero kunwari kung kaliwete ka, dapat yung kaliwa yung or dun mo lalagyan ng bigat para i-push yung shovel. Tapos, keep the feet wide apart. And then, shift weight to rear foot kapag bubuhatin na natin yung shovel with the load. And then, turn to the direction where you want to throw. Digging guidelines. Push spade down using the leg muscle. Slide load close to the body. Ensure load is loose from the ground before lifting. Ito yung proper guideline sa digging. Ganun din, lagay tayo ng bigat kung saan yung paa natin na sanay tayo. Kung kaliwete tayo or sa kanan. And then, slide the load close to the body. Itong ililift natin yung load, kung lupa man yon, gravel or cement, dapat naka-intact na siya dun sa shovel or dapat na tawag dito, yung fitted na siya dun sa shovel bago natin iangat. Lifting guidelines. Before lifting, always check to see if mechanical aids such as hoist, lift trucks, dollies, or wheelbarrows are available. Get help with heavy or acquired loads. Assess and identify the weight of the load. Be sure that you can lift the load without exertion. Be sure that load is free to move. Check if the planned location of the load is free of obstacles and debris. Meron pa ba? Yun. Be sure that the path to the planned location of the load is clear. Grease, oil, water, lifter, and debris can cause slips and falls. Particular handling and lifting techniques are needed for different kinds of loads or materials being handled. Large handled, such as large sacks, drums, barrels, cylinders, sheets, materials like metal or glass. Do not lift if you are not sure that you can handle the load safely. So ito na nga yung mga things na dapat nating always check before lifting yung isang bagay. Siyempre dapat i-assert muna natin isang things. Observe natin kung kaya ba nating buhatin ng gamit manually or gamit ng mga kamay lang natin at mga paa. So always check if there are equipments to lift the materials, kung may available ba, at then yun ang gagamitin natin pang lift. And syempre dapat yung appropriate din. And then kung movable ba yung bagay na dapat nating i-move or dapat nating buhatin. And then check the location kung saan natin ililift yung bagay. Syempre bago tayo mag-lift, dapat i-check muna natin kung saan natin ilalagay. Syempre baka buhat na tayo ng buhat, tapos pagdating dun sa destination na hindi naman pwede siyang ilagay. Dapat i-clear out muna natin. General tips for lifting. Examine the load and the surroundings area prior to lifting. Prepare for the lift by warming up the muscles. Stand close to the load and face the way you intend to move. Use wide stance to gain balance. Be sure to have good grip of the load. So ito yung mga general tips, no, kung paano mag-lift ng mga materials or ng mga bagay na dapat nating buhatin at ilagay sa ibang location. Look forward to keep back straight, keep arms straight, tighten abdominal muscles, tuck chin into the chest. Initiate the lift with the body weight. Use muscle power of the legs in lifting. Lift the loads as close to the body as possible. Lift smoothly without jerking. Avoid twisting and side bending while lifting. So ito na ngayon. Kung makikita natin dito sa picture, dito sa kaliwa, ito yung improper way of lifting. Kung makikita natin, yung tao ay nakabend, tas yung kamay niya nakadiretso dun sa load, and intended to lift the load ng ganyan ang posture. So improper yon kasi if the load is way more heavier than yung sinasabi nga natin kanina, yung mga upper limits natin, magdadamage ito dito sa ating backbone or sa ating backbone. Magdadamage yan. Baka magkakaroon pa tayo ng mga fracture sa bones dahil nga syempre mas mabigat yung ililip natin. And then dito sa kanan, ito yung right way. Dapat yuyuko tayo and then secure natin yung load sa ating kamay. Hanapin yung proper grip. Tapos pagbuhat natin, dapat ang force ay dapat manggagaling sa ating mga legs para safe yung ating backbone. Hindi dun mapupunta yung bigat. Yun. Dapat sa legs yung bigat na, dapat sa legs natin ilalagay yung bigat. So, lifting a compact load dito sa left picture natin. A compact load can be lifted between the knees. Yan. Remember to stand close behind the loads, straddle the load, or place leading foot flat beside the load in the direction of the travel, place rear in the direction of the travel, bend the hips and the knees, keep your back straight. When lifting, grasp the load in elbows. Ito na ngayon ini-explain ko na dapat may grip na tayo dun sa load bago natin buhatin. And then, ang weight natin dapat ay nasa ating mga legs. So, same dun sa when putting down a load, same yon. Na dapat yung bigat ng load natin ay nasa legs pa din. And then, yung slowly dapat nating babagsak yung mga materials, yung hindi yung ibibigla. First, masisira yung materials kapag binagsak natin ng biglaan. And then, kung yung paa natin ay nakaharang pa dun sa babagsakan ng material, edi mayuyupi pa yung paa natin. So, lifting compact bags, the best way to handle a bag depends on its size, weight, and how far it is to be carried. Explain ko na lang pag nakita natin yung picture. Ito. So, dito, tingnan natin yung picture from the left side to right side. So, yan. Kapag nagbubuhat tayo, dapat yung sack ay dapat ang kanyang bigat ay dapat nasa shoulder natin, kung saan yung sanay natin na sa pagbuhat. And then, ganun pa din yung load, yung bigat, i-distribute dapat natin sa ating dalawang paa. Yan, para evenly, hindi tayo ma-out balance. And then, slightly bend yung paa natin and the hips para ilagay yung sack dun sa, dapat may paglalagyan tayo ng which is higher place. Kunwari mga tables, at kung meron mga ibang paglalagyan muna, and then doon natin siya bababa ng dahan-dahan. Hindi yung kapag nagbubuhat tayo ng mga sako na may laman, is diretso natin bagsak sa lupa. Ang tendency nun, mapupunit yung sako, and then yung laman, syempre lalabas. And then sa lifting sacks, ito siya, yung mga tips. Explain ko na lang dun sa picture. Ito. Same as kung paano natin ibaba yung object. Una, bubuhatin natin siya, ilalagay din sa table or kung ano may pwede natin paglagyan. And then, dito sa second picture, yan na, nilagay. Sa third picture, i-bend natin or parang tawag dito. Ipapasandig natin sa ating balikat and then doon na natin bubuhatin. And then, dapat yung weight ay kailangan mong mai-distribute sa paa mo, hindi dito sa ating backbone, para hindi tayo magkaroon ng mga injuries. Ito na nga, bulky socks. Bulkier socks are easy to carry on your back. Lift onto your back from the front as described above. And move the sack to the edge of the platform. Put your back against the sack. Grasp with both hands on the upper corners of the sack. Ease the sack onto the back, bending hips and knees. Before taking the weight, keep the back straight. Stand up and straighten the hips and knees. Stabilize the sack. Move away without bending sideways. Ito na nga yung proper na pag lift natin na dapat, syempre yung ang pinaka-importante kasi dito is maprotektahan yung backbone natin na dapat hindi magkaroon ng injury. Dapat straight lang talaga siya. And then kung paano natin siya i-lift ay dapat ang mag-lift nun ay yung mga legs natin. And then to 2-person lift and stop. Position 1 person on either side of the sack. Squat with 1 foot balancing behind the sack. And then keep the sack straight. Grasp with the outer and the upper corner, holding the bottom of the sack. So makikita natin dito sa picture, yun nga, position either person doon sa gilid ng ng sack. And then squat with 1 foot dapat nakahanda na yung mga paa natin kung saan natin i-exert yung force para malip natin yung sack. Supporting with both hands doon sa ilalim. And then yung grip natin doon sa upper part of the sack para hindi siya matumba or mahulog. And then dito sa 1 person's command, syempre dapat meron kayong pagbilang kung paano nyo or kailan nyo bubuhatin yung sack. Dapat may magbibilang like 1, 2, 3 and yun, buhat, go. Dito, letter D, lifting drums and barrels. Handling drums and barrels can be dangerous. Do not handle drums and barrels without training. So, raising the drums from the ground, use mechanical aids whenever possible. Do not attempt to raise a full drum alone. So, ito yung mga tips and then the do's and don'ts na dapat nating sundin. Yan, bring the back and leg forward and keep close to the drum. So, explain natin dito sa picture. And then, ito sa first picture, if the drum is horizontally on the ground, kung paano natin i-lift yung mga natutunan natin kanina, i-apply din natin same sa drum. Dapat yung force natin nasa papa din, nakabend sa mga hips natin, and then yung grip natin ay dapat malakas yung grip natin sa drum para mataas natin yung drum. 2-person lift, use the 2-person lift full drum, use the same techniques as one with a person but have 2 people squatting at the either side of the drum. Same kanina doon sa sa sack. Same lang yung technique na gagamitin. Moving a standing drum. Stand close to the drum with feet apart, 1 foot on the front and another behind. Keep knees slightly flexed. Put your hands firmly against the upper rim of the drum. Keep the arms straight with the elbows locked. Rock the drum gently to get feel of its contents before you move it. Push and stop the top of the drum by exerting the back leg. And ito, papakita natin dito. We position ourselves in the front of the drum with our feet wide open. Tapos yung mga kamay natin dapat naka-fix na doon, yung grip natin dapat malakas doon sa upper rim ng drum. Tapos i-bend natin siya. Ililin yung drum. Tapos yung contents dapat stable lang siya sa loob dapat. Tapos kung paano natin siya i-move, i-roll natin yung drum doon sa surface. Gaya ng dito sa second or dito sa last picture, ito yung pinaka-last sa ilalim. I-roll natin siya dun sa pupuntahan natin ng drum. Lifting sheet materials. Handling sheet materials single-handedly is always difficult and hazardous. Store the sheet materials in a convenient height above the ground. Do not lift carry sheets without training. And what should be done when lifting material sheets? Stand close to the pile of the sheets in walking stance. Grasp sheet firmly at the midpoint of its long side with wider, closer hand. Pull sheet up and toward the body. Change grip using your other hand. Yan, pull sheet from the vertical position inside until half is off the pile, grasp the lower edge in the sheet and freehand support hand by placing it on your knee, and then stand up without bending and twisting the body. So ito na yung mga basic na dapat nating gawin kapag nagbubuhat tayo ng mga sheets materials like yung mga plywood or glass materials. Yung una nga, yung isang kamay natin, like in the picture, kuha tayo ng one piece of kung glass material man yan or plywood, and then ililip natin siya hanggang sa makuha natin yung other side or the other edge ng plywood or ng glass. Tapos doon na natin i-place yung supporting hand natin sa ilalim, and then dapat yung isang kamay natin doon nasa taas para may full control tayo doon sa sa plywood sheet, and then lean natin siya doon sa knee natin para sa support ng pag-lift, and then yun na, buhatin na natin ng sideways. Dapat yung kung ano yung nasa ilalim na kamay, dapat yung mas malakas para hindi natin mabagsak yung material. What should be done when carrying the load? Use drywall carts to carry sheet materials. Get help from another person where carts are not available. Apply carrying handles for manual carrying. Always use gloves and carrying handles for glass and materials with sharp edges. So before we lifting, dapat meron tayong gloves, safety gloves para buhatin yung mga sheet materials para maiwasan natin yung sugat sa ating mga kamay or mapinch yung matawag dito, yung matusok tayo ng mahaba na yung parang toothpick na maliit. Yun. So mechanical materials handling, as the same suggests, this pertains to the use of rigid, manually or mechanically powered equipment mainly for handling bulk and heavy items. So dito sa mechanical materials handling, so before we do this mechanical materials handling, we should know how to use the mechanical equipment for lifting or moving things, like yung mga mechanical equipments na pangbuhat ng mga materials. So here are some manually powered materials handling equipment. Use rolling platforms. Yung rolling platforms, we commonly use this, kapag patungan natin ng mga bagay na mabibigat, then itutulak lang natin. So syempre mas mapapadali yon kasi magkakaroon tayo ng less friction coefficient, mas mapapadali yung pag horizontal push natin or pulling. And syempre we must have the control on how to push and pull horizontally, because kunwari malakas yung pagtulak natin and then yung momentum is hindi natin mapigilan, maaari nating matulak yung material dun sa mga pader or kung saan man natin dadalhin, and then di natin mapigilan yon. Syempre malakas ang momentum nun dahil mas maliit na nga yung friction coefficient nya. So use a hand truck to move bulky objects. Hand truck, ito kalimitan nakakita natin to na gamit ng mga construction workers na paglalagyan ng mga sako na puno ng laman, and then ng mga hollow blocks or semento. So use self truck to move variety of objects. Yung self truck, kalimitan nating nakikita to sa mga hospital, yung parang tray siya na may gulong na apat sa ilalim, tapos madami siyang napaglalagyan ng mga gamit. Commonly, ito yung ginagamit natin kapag marami tayong imumove na sabay-sabay, tapos maliliit na gamit. So use platform truck to move heavy irregular shape objects. Ito namang platform truck na to, ito yung mga pinaglalagyan natin ng mas mabigat pa na bagay, like kunwari nagtatrabaho kasi isang delivery company, no, yung magbubuhat ka ng mga refrigerator, dito yung natin ilalagay para ma-safe natin siyang ma-i-deliver or matulak natin, kasi mas mabigat yun, hindi naman natin kayang buhatin. Kaya dito natin ito na i-apply tong platform truck na to. So semi-live skid for temporary storage. Ito naman yung parang pares lang siya dyan sa platform truck, pero hinihila naman siya, no? Tapos kung saan mo siya hinila, meron siya na itong parang gulong sa harap na mas madali natin siyang na dadala dun sa direksyon na kung saan natin pagpupuntahan, no? Rack or bin. Itong rack or bin naman, common nito ginagamit sa mas maliliit na bagay pero mas madami. Na ito yung ginagamit natin para sabay-sabay natin ma-move yung mga gamit na yung maliliit. So select a stair climbing trap when moving loads in stairs. So ito, bihira natin ito makita, pero gamit na gamit to, no? Kung yung gamit na dadalhin natin ay dadaan ng mga hagdan. And then choose a sturdy frame hand truck with larger wheels to move materials in rough terrains. Condition is set for handled, allows for assistance. Ito ginagamit to sa mga paglilipatan natin ng objects na yung daan is yung bako-bako, baga madaming mga butas-butas na magkukos dun sa materials na maging unstable sa paglipat, sa paghila natin. Dito yan siya na gagamit para maging mas stable and safe yung gamit. And then ito, kailangan to ng another person para mas stable yung malipat yung mga materials, dahil nga yung terrain is bulky. So use pump truck to move materials towards in pallets. Ito naman, nakita natin itong pump truck na to, kapag yung bigat niya is talagang mabigat, gagamitin natin yung power yung pump na ito, yung pag-compress nung air para malip natin yung mga materials na mabibigat. And then madali lang din siyang gamitin kasi may gulong na din siya, and then mas nagagamit natin siya kapag dun sa direction na pupunta natin, dahil nga meron siya na itong yung parang handlebar niya. And then move and dump waste materials with dump trucks. So dump trucks, alam na din natin to kung paano gamitin. Common ito nakita natin sa mga garbage trucks and garbage cans. Diyan natin nilalagay yung mga basura natin, tapos mas nadadalian natin silang move dahil sa kanilang mechanism. So move an empty drums with tilting drums, cradles, and drum dollies. Ito naman ginagamit to especially for drums, no, yung mga circular objects or oblong na mga object, dahil yung design nila para talaga doon. Kung makikita natin dito sa dulo ng ng equipment na to, meron siya yung parang curve para mas ma-hold in place niya yung mga drum. And then handle sheets materials with A-frame, hand truck, or dolly. Itong handle sheet, itong A-frame, hand truck, or dolly, ito naman specifically it is used for sheets materials, no, yung mga tulad ng plywood, ng glass materials, glass panes. Yan, dun yun nagagamit. Mechanically powered materials handling equipment are classified into lifting equipment and transform equipment. So yan, yung mechanically powered handling equipments classified into two, yung pangbuhat and then pang transport ng materials. A worker must not operate an equipment if he is not trained to use it. Ito na nga yung sinasabi natin na dapat alamin natin kung paano gamitin yung mga mechanically powered materials. No, kung hindi naman natin alam kung paano gamitin, ba't gagamitin pa natin, na magkukos lang din naman ito ng accident. No? Operator must be certified and authorized. So yung operators dapat certified and authorized, meaning dapat license siya. No? Lisensyado dapat siya na mag-handle ng ganitong mga equipments. Operators must be trained in safety and health involving handling equipment operations. And equipment must be properly maintained and regularly inspected. So, ito sa mga mechanically powered materials, so dapat yung maintenance is high because yung mga materials na to dapat chine-check natin regularly para wala tayong accidents na mangyari, or dapat yung mga equipment ay hindi bumigay during the work or the process, no? So ropes, you should know how to particular rope handler in particular task or loads. Keep rope in good conditions all the time. Yung ropes, we have many techniques on how to use ropes, lalo na yung kung paano yung rope knotting, yung tulad nung nung mga Boy Scout, 'di ba? Tinuruan tayo kung paano mag-tie ng rope, ng tali para dun sa mga iba't ibang applications ng rope. Yun. Chains, do not let chains get kinked, knotted or twisted. So sa chains dapat regularly maintained, no? Dapat wala siyang cracks, mga kalawang, ganun. Hindi siya nakabuhol dahil mahirap tawag dito, yung pag nakabuhol yung mga chains, mahirap natin yung matrace tapos matanggal sa kanyang pagkabuhol. Steel and plastic traps, make sure traps are not too loose or tight. Do not lift by strap unless the same is designed for that purpose. So steel and plastic straps, dito yung mga pinagagamitan nito ay yung mga light materials, kunwari sa mga factories ng mga food, no, mga food industries, kalimitan tong ginagamit tong steel and plastic straps for conveniency, kasi nga 'di ba dapat yung mas mabilis yung trabaho nila, but then dapat secure. Workplace layout. Workplace is at the area within which you perform the tasks that add up to your job. The physical design of the workplace includes setting the amount of space needed and the positioning of furniture, tools, equipments, and other items necessary to perform the task in respect to proper posture, access, clearance, reach, and vision to the user. Poor designs of the workplace or bad arrangement of furniture or equipment may result in injuries and strains due to adoption of uncomfortable working postures, less spare capacity to deal with unexpected events or emergencies, increased possibility of errors and accidents, and inefficiency. So dito sa workplace layout, dapat ito yung before the company o dapat bago yung kumpanya may patayo, syempre dapat yung layout ng workplace dapat na-check na yan ng mga with authorities, no, yung mga experts dyan sa mga ganyang bagay, no, like mga civil engineers, mga architects, no, industrial engineers. Dapat na-check na nila yan, yung mga workplace, kung pasado ba dun sa standard na dapat pagtrabahuan, no, ng mga tao. Kasi syempre yung workplace, dyan magtatrabaho yung mga tao natin, yung mga workers natin, dapat talaga safe yung workplace natin, and then dapat work efficient nga, na dapat yung workplace natin, yung kapag nagtatrabaho tayo, yung hindi madaming bothered, ganun, na yung uncomfortable ka, dapat hindi ganun yung workplace natin. Na kunwari, dapat yung mga height ng workplace natin ay in standard para dun sa company, and then yung overall layout ng workplace is dapat work efficient nga. So ito, layout or organization of the work must allow materials to be handled without excessive bending, twisting, and stretching, reduces injury-able materials at work level. Use adjustable elements at the workplace. So self-adjusting platform automatically matches worker site. So dapat nga yung mga pinagtatrabuhan natin, yung mga work platforms natin, dapat nasa standard height ng mga workers natin. So workbench with adjustable height and tilt improves positioning. So ito nga yung mga dapat yung mga tilting ng mga tables natin ay dapat nasa proper angle para hindi tayo magkaroon ng mga excessive loads on our bodies. No? Ensure that there is enough room to turn around, prevent twisting. So dapat yung pinagtatrabuhan natin is tawag dito, yung malawak, no? Spacious, para kunwari kapag nag-move tayo ng mga bagay natin, hindi yung kapag nag-move tayo ay pipilitin pa natin yung sarili natin na mag-fit dun sa pagdadaanan natin. No? So, use adjustable support suspenders to operate heavy tools. Tool suspender reduces muscular effort and compression on the back. So, dapat kapag naggagawa tayo ng mga bagay na sa mga ceiling, tulad nga nito, dapat meron tayong mga support equipments para dun sa dito sa mga equipment na to, kung paano siya gamitin. Dapat meron tayong mga suspenders or extensions tulad nito para hindi tayo mahirapan na mag-abot ng mga pagtatrabuhan natin. Tool supporter eliminates overstretching and overreacting, raking, dip and tilt device, side opening the bend reduces bending, use bins that allows to easy access. So alam na din natin to sa mga bagay na dapat paggamitan ng mga extenders or ng mga suspenders na ito. So, material storage. Material storage could be easily neglected at times in an actual work setting. When neglected, it leads to cluttering, piling of one material over another. So, yun na nga, sa material storage, itong material storage na to, it is important na dapat ma-handle natin or ma-maintain natin lagi. For example, dapat yung mga bagay na dapat i-store natin, dapat hindi magkahalo-halo, like dun sa mga flammable materials and then sa mga materials na will cause fire. No, dapat hindi sila maghalo-halo. Dapat we have proper material storage. And then yung mga materials na pag napaghalo-halo natin, and then kapag kinabukasan na mag-work na naman tayo, at yung mga bagay or yung mga materials nakahalo-halo na, mas kakain pa yun ng oras para hanapin yung mga materials na dapat nating kunin. Dapat yung mga materials na to ay may tamang types and categories, no? Kung maalala natin yung mga 5S, dapat na susunod natin yon. Yung 5S na yon dapat ay nai-apply natin dito sa material storage na to. So at least 2 exits, properly illuminated, properly ventilated, and restricted access. Itong sa 2 exits na to, syempre dapat sa pagtrabaho natin, syempre hindi natin maiwasan na magkakasabay-sabay yung mga workers natin. Dapat kung saan yung storage room natin, dapat dalawa yung exit niya para mas madali yung pag-exit ng mga tao, and then time efficient na din. So properly illuminated, dapat malakas yung mga ilaw natin, or dapat nga properly illuminated para mas makita natin ng mas maayos yung mga tools, yung mga materials natin na gagamitin. Properly ventilated din, kasi syempre kung nagkakasabay-sabay ngayong mga tao, dapat ventilated or properly ventilated yung storage room natin, and then hindi tayo magkakaroon ng problema regarding our respiratory. No, restricted access. Sa restricted access, dito yung mga tao na yung mga tao na have authorization only, no? Yung mga taong authorized lang dun sa area na yan, dapat sila lang, because for example, they have the proper knowledge in that area. Tapos dun tayo magtatanong kung paano ba yung proper handling ng mga materials or ng mga tools natin. Next, materials should be stored in limited amounts. This can be accomplished by providing special storage racks for limited capacity for similar items, example which are special storage racks. Also, materials that you need more frequently in use must be replaced closer to you. Ito na nga, diba, yung sinasabi natin, yung mga similar items dapat magkakasama-sama, dapat hindi sila nakamix, no? Dapat may proper categories and types, no? And then organize dapat yung storage natin. So furthermore, materials must not be obstructed. Alarm boxes, sprinkler system controls, first aid equipments, fuse boxes, importantly aisle and exits, no? Dapat yung pag-storage natin ng material dun sa storage room, dapat yung mga materials yan, hindi dapat nila natatabunan yung mga emergency natin, or yung mga securities natin like obstruct alarm boxes. Dapat hindi sila nakaharang doon para kapag in case of an accident or emergency, mas madaling ma-approach and then yung alarm. Sprinkle systems, dapat walang nakaharang dyan para mas effective yung pag-detect ng mga smoke, para gumana yung mga sprinkler systems natin. So even more common are aisle cluttered with raw materials and finishing products. During normal operations, clutter can prevent you from knowing where to go, how much more in the case of emergencies. Tama nga naman, di ba? Kapag syempre kung yung mga bagay, yung mga materials na nakaharang dun sa mga corridor natin or aisles, syempre magti-take up time pa yon, na dahil nga nakaharang, hanap pa tayo ng ibang direction para makapunta dun sa destinations natin. And then if the emergency comes, paano yun, di ba? Mas magti-take up time yon dun sa kung paano mag-exit yung mga workers natin. And then yun nga, magkukos pa yun ng mga future accidents, no? Obstruct passenger ways will surely cause disasters, no? When employed, evacuation is necessary. What should be recommended when setting up a storage area? So, storage materials at a convenient height, leave at lowest shelf unused if necessary, use vertical mobile shelves to avoid bending or overhead reaching. So, dapat yung mga storage room natin, yung mga pinaglalagyan nila, dapat nasa proper height para hindi mag-overexert yung mga tao na kunin yung mga bagay, yung mga materials overhead, and then para hindi sila mag-overstretching to avoid yung mga back strains and back injuries. Storage heavy and frequently used materials at waist height, no? Dapat nasa height nga ng waist natin para mas madali nating mag-grab and then ma-lift yung bagay, no? Do not store materials at floor level. So ito, syempre kapag yung mga bagay natin ay nasa floor, syempre lagi tayong mag-lift, no? Which is bad for our backbones. Use hand trucks to elevating devices in storage and loading area. So gagamit tayo nito mga hand trucks or ng mga mechanically powered materials, no? Pang-lift ng mga bagay na sobra dun sa ating kakayahan na pagbubuhat. Tulad nito, mga coil handling, no? Winch operated, mga chain operated, no? para mas mapadali yung pagtatrabaho natin. Use truck with a tilting device to avoid bending. Yun nga, yung mga heavy materials, gagamit tayo nito mga box tilter para mas malagay siya ng mas maayos dun sa mataas na bagay or para mas maibaba siya ng maayos. Use elevating platforms to avoid overhead reaching. So, gagamit tayo nito ng mga elevating platforms or kung wala man tayo nito, kuha tayo ng mga bagay na pwede nating apakan para hindi tayo overhead reaching. So, what can be done to reduce the amount of times material is handled? So, use rollers to eliminate manual lifting and carrying. Use floor rollers while loading and unloading trucks to reduce lifting. So, dito na po mapasok yung mga mechanically powered equipments natin, no, para mas mapadali yung pagtatrabaho natin para maging mas work efficient, no. So use sliding and bed while loading and unloading small trucks to avoid overreaching and carrying in awkward positions. So ito yung mga bed slider na to, gagamitin natin to para sa paglalagay ng mga gamit na mas malayo pa and then mas smooth. So eliminate extra loading or unloading steps where possible. Unload as close as possible to the place where materials will be needed. So kapag magbababa tayo ng material, siyempre dapat mas malapit dun sa destination natin, but dapat meron pa din tayo na space para sa pag-unload natin para hindi tayo maging crumpled, no? So use ramps to avoid lifting and dragging edges. So dito sa ramps, dapat gumagamit tayo nito para hindi tayo magli-lift ng mga materials kapag ilalagay pa natin sa mga much higher places. Ito yung purpose ng ramps, no? Tapos gagamit tayo ng mga ito yung may mga gamit na may mga wheels, no, o mga rollers natin para mas madali siya kapag meron siyang ramp. Use containers that allow fluids to pour or empty without lifting the container. So gagamit tayo nito ng mga equipment na nagpa-pump ng mga liquid natin para kunin dun sa mga containers nila para hindi na tayo gagamit ng force para i-lift and then i-pour yung mga fluids natin. Solving materials handling problems. While quick and easy mobilizations of storage and materials is necessity in the workplace, and the tendency to deviate from a safe way of doing it happens, unmindful of the adverse consequences to the both person and the materials. With these simple things to consider in solving materials handling problems: what will be moved, determine the item you wish to move, then adapt the applications method that will provide safety for you and protection of the material. Where to move these items. A simple mapping of the object direction could save the time and effort. So, yun nga, i-assess natin yung materials to be moved, observe if we can move the materials, or if needed, some equipments, no. How often will this be moved? So, dapat na-assess na din natin, no. There are certain materials that are moved every now and then, yung like mga toolbox natin na kung saan tayo pupunta magtatrabaho, syempre dala-dala natin yung mga toolbox natin, no. How many will be moved? Always have special handling equipment that could do the job, especially if there are large number of materials to be moved. So yan na nga, no, dapat nabibilang natin, or before we move, dapat we have the future plans on how to handle. How far will the materials will be moved? Yun na nga, how far dapat estimated din natin para if we can use it manual handling, no? Or if we can use the mechanically powered handling equipments. Yan. And then in summary, it is you who can prevent materials handling accidents and injuries. You can achieve this by remembering the following: be alert for hazards, follow company safety regulations, Take your time and don't take chances. Use proper lifting techniques. Use legs, not the back. Get the help or mechanical assistance. If in doubt, wear protective gear. Keep an eye on whatever or on what others are doing. Let other workers know what you are doing. So, be alert for hazards. Ito na nga, dapat maging alert tayo, observant, and then follow company safely regulations. First and foremost, dapat we must follow company safely regulations. If we can't follow, edi sisanti ka kaagad kapag na take notice ka ng manager mo or ng bossing mo. Take your time and don't take chances. So, ito na nga, take your time. Yung huwag tayong maging rush doon sa mga tinatrabaho natin. Kasi kapag mas rush yung trabaho natin, mas pangit, and then we might get in an accident. Use proper lifting techniques. Use legs not back. Ito yung sinasabi ko na nga po ulit-ulit. Dapat hindi yung backbone natin ang gamitin natin because it is dangerous for our backbone, especially in our spinal cord. And then we must use our legs to distribute the weight, and then use the legs to lift and then do other things. Get help or mechanical assistance if in doubt, no? Syempre, dun sa una, pag na-observe natin di natin kaya, and then we must get help from our co-workers or use mechanical equipments. Wear protective gear. Ito na nga yung mga PPEs natin. We must always wear these PPEs. Keep an eye on whatever others are doing. So, dapat maging observant nga tayo. Dapat alam natin kung anong ginagawa ng mga co-workers natin. Kung sila ba ay dun sa way ng dadaanan natin or dun sa destinations, dapat alam natin para maiwasan natin yung mga aksidente na mabangga sila, masagi, ganon. And then, we might prevent on bothering them. Let other workers know what you are doing. So, kapag may gagawin ka, syempre, like kung dun sa destination na pupuntahan mo, dun yung mga co-workers mo, syempre sasabihan mo na sila, oy, dadating ako dyan, may dala-dala akong ganito, ganyan. Kapag dating ko, dapat tumabi muna kayo or pwede nyo akong tulungan dun sa mga gagawin ko. So, some special points to remember: the capacity to perform MMH varies considerably among individuals. In general, the lifting strength of women as a group is less than that of women. However, individual ranges of strengths are wide. It means that some women can safely handle greater loads than some men. So, therefore, discriminating against women. So, dito nga, so kapag nasa work tayo, we must avoid discriminations of the gender, no? Kapag babae, we always judge na mas mahina sila, but in some areas, there are some areas that the women or the girls are more than superior in men, no? Meron talagang mga areas na yung mga babae lang ang kayang gawin, kayang nakakagawa or sila lang nakakagawa dun sa mga areas na yon. And then, there are some areas na lalaki lang din yung nakakagawa. So, we must be understandable nga dun sa mga situations na ganito. So, aging diminishes strength. Since the rate of decline varies greatly with the individual, discrimination against older workers solely on this basis is unjustified. No? Statistics show that back injuries among workers over 45 years of age are less frequent than among those of 20 to 45 years of age. Experience seems to counterbalance decreasing physical capacity. With experience comes skills, dexterity, and practical know-how for completing tasks, of which are very important factors contributing to safe MMH. The unskilled and inexperienced workers is at greater risk in tasks that require skills in handling. On the other hand, the older, experienced workers is at risk in tasks requiring sheer physical strength. We hope that this module clarify many things about materials handling in workplace. In fact, we believe some of the points we have made here and also applicable at home and in school. It would be good to keep these points in mind wherever you may be. So, dito sinasabi nga na discriminations among ages, no? Sinasabi nga nila na yung mas matandang worker is hindi na appropriate sa ganitong bagay, but yung iba naman sinasabi na mas appropriate sila. So, dito, kapag kasi yung mga mas matandang worker, dun sa trabaho nila, mas matagal na sila dun, tinatawag natin na silang veterano, no? Mas alam nila yung mga risk na ginagawa nila. Mas alam nila yung mga ginagawa nila, and then mas veteran na sila dun sa ginagawa nila. Mas alam na nila yon. And somewhat, wala tayong masasabi doon kasi nga mas experience sila dun sa ganitong bagay or sa ganitong area, but may mga area din na yung mga matatanda is hindi na nila kayang gawin, like mas magbuhat ng mas mabibigat na bagay. Syempre, mas trabaho yun ng mga mas nakakabatang worker. So, ang dapat dito, yung mga mas matatandang worker, they must teach and then guide the younger workers on how to work at some workplace, no? So, dito nga, some older workers, tinuturo yung mga skills nila dun sa kung paano gawin yung mga bagay nito. Kahit minsan na yung skills na yon is not in the range of this MMH. No, may mga bagay talaga na kaya nating gawin na wala dun sa mga standards ng mga statistics. And then we hope na yung mga techniques natin na ganito nawala sa mga techniques na mga tulad na tinuturo nitong MMH ay minsan mas safe, minsan mas riskier naman. So yun nga, we hope that this module, no, sana itong module na ito na-achieve natin yung 3 objectives natin kanina, na dapat after discussing this module ay na-achieve natin yung goal na yun, or we can apply this MMH sa our daily lives, no, like in schools, in homes, na dapat ang main point lang naman na sinasabi ng module 5 or ng materials handling and storage, no, dapat we must always be safe on what we are doing, no. Ang point lang naman dito is dapat mas maingat tayo, and then we must know the capacity of ourselves, yung mga limits natin, and then yung mga technique na dapat gamitin para mas safe kung ano yung mga ginagawa natin, no. Sa MMH dito tinuturo yung mga basic knowledge kung paano yung mga proper postures na dapat gamitin sa mga bagay na ginagawa natin on our daily life basis, and then dito sa ating workplace. So that's all guys, I hope na may natutunan kayo dito sa pag-discuss ko ng module 5 ng basic occupational safety and health. Thank you guys, and that's all.